Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Christmas Eve. This is Jared Ram. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Friday, December 24th, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern. Before we go into meditation, there's a couple things that I need to clarify. For those who missed the new technology call last night, please email my assistant, lifelight369 at protonmail.com for the template on how to purchase. Secondly, those of you that were on my TFCC, I think people got confused and said that I said get online as far as the RV. I said everybody is in line now, waiting in line, not getting online. So I want to clarify that. Everybody's been waiting around for a long time. And now they don't need to wait. Now they need to get in line. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands that. The biggest problem on this planet right now is ego. And we are not this demanding ego. We are the light of pure consciousness. This is always, that is always on, always bright, and always shining. Whatever the thing is, that whatever it is any of us constantly crave for and incessantly desire in this life, is the product of our burning, fixated ego. The ego is too proud to trust in this life and believe life is magical, highly intelligent and benevolent. Our egos like to feel like it's in control of this great, unfathomable mystery. Because if we look deeper down into the low points of our lives, we will see the ego actually feels powerless, a bit lost, needing attention, and abandoned. It has gotten lost in these delusions and has forgotten how to trust, relax, enjoy life, and celebrate the magical unfoldment that exists in this amazing universe. Do not worry. We all decided for a demanding ego just so that we could have the delicious experience of transcending it. Sending your ego so much trust and love. Sending all of you lots of love, freedom, and gratitude. How can we get grounded in God? If you believe in God, then work with Him. If you do not, then become one. If you believe in God, then work with Him. If you do not, then become one. Nisargadatta. The source of God is the foundation of our very being. It is the divine intelligent energy and consciousness inside all matter that creates the fabric of this universe. This intelligent God energy is in everything. It's inside every atom, in between every atom. There is no place or space that quantum physicists have discovered that an all-intelligent living force is not there. The God force is all-powerful, and it is inside each of us. It is our essential essence, our naturalness, our true life force, and the very fabric of our souls. When we can fully relax inside ourselves, we create room to fully connect with this divine source from which every life experience is emanating. The deeper we can let go and rest into our bodies and minds, the deeper we dive down the rabbit hole, discovering that this experience of God has always been a foundational truth of who and what we all actually are. If we would like a powerful technique to instantly get grounded in God, here it is. Slow your life way down. Walk slower. Eat slower. Talk slower. Drive slower. Breathe slower. And try doing every single thing throughout your day at half the speed you normally do them. Your ego will despise this, yet your soul will love it. Most people miss God because they are rushing through their day. Rushing through a life experience is like an act of violence against your soul. It means you're not truly reverent with life. You are attached to the mind, still chasing after some big, juicy future carrot and overlooking the sweet, all-loving, divine God source that is here to be enjoyed at the core of our very beings. Be aware that naturally the mind is an addict. It is already deeply addicted to moving into the past and future, avoiding the now. If you want to get out of this habit, beyond feeling overwhelmed, behind, stuck, or beating yourself up about things that should or shouldn't have happened in your life, you will need to start believing you have greater destiny. When you slow everything down, you create space for more consciousness to flood in. You then can notice that every single problem you have is because you are not fully here, now, grounded in God. In this relaxed space, the ego stops pushing you to get to the next experience, and then it just happens one ordinary day that you find real happiness. A quiet mind is all you need. All else will happen rightly once your mind is quiet. Nisargadatta. When we slow completely down, we will eventually reach a space inside ourselves where we completely stop. We stop all doing in our minds and finally fall into a place of resting in pure being. Here, we can finally realize that God exists inside each and every one of us. In pure being, we become aware that this energy exists within the presence of our own consciousness. Relax into purely being, and you'll see there is a feeling of deep relief like nothing you have ever experienced in your entire life. Discovering this God force inside you feels as if you were holding your breath under the ocean forever, and then suddenly you come up to the surface for your first breath of air. Finding God within your being feels like you can finally take in life in its totality with such a great lightness and buoyancy that you often feel like you're floating on the air. If you wish to completely enlighten your consciousness, first, ground your awareness deeply in the present moment. Ground your awareness deeply in the present moment. Grounding means being here now. Grounding means being here now. And to experience this, all that is required is the state of surrender. To completely surrender means you're willing to let go of your mind and every thought flowing through it. Surrender gives you the eyes to see God, and everything that is brought to these eyes becomes divine also. Surrendering fully to God also means you are constantly releasing any arising desire to achieve anything, to change anything, create anything, or arrive anywhere better than here now. This means you're letting your ego hand over all of its burdens, attachments, and responsibilities to God. You are not the doer anymore. Instead, you are being done by life. Just for 5 minutes, try it. Stop being the doer. Stop being someone, something, somebody, special or not special at all. Stop being anybody right now. Stop being the one who is creating everything in your life. Take the ultimate vacation and completely be relieved of all duty. Total surrender is just that. It is total. You completely let go of it all of it. Not 95% or even 99%. Let go. This technique only works when it's a real, true 100% surrender. This total surrender is also not just some one-time, one-shot deal. It is a continual process, a perpetual release, letting go of the mind in every single breathing moment of your day. Total surrender means you are no longer holding on to anything the mind believes to be important, urgent, or real. It's a radical approach, I understand that. Yet if you want total freedom, you must choose to give up your ego totally. This means no attachment to the past, the present, or the future. Your ego's desires become secondary on this path of surrender because you are trusting the divine, all-knowing, synchronistic, all-intelligent God force flowing throughout this universe instead. When you become the deepest valley of reception, then the highest peaks of consciousness can be given to you. Only a valley can receive a peak. A disciple should be absolutely feminine, receptive, like a womb. Only then such a phenomenon happens as it's going to happen in this song. Osho. When trust takes precedence over our ego's desires, we naturally surrender to each experience, knowing it is the right experience. This enables every moment of our lives to become a doorway to the divine. We surrender, not because we have to, but because it just feels so good. There is this constant merging and melting with that source, which makes everything feel lighter and freer on the inside. From this lighter, easier space, whatever we may want is what God wants. Our will becomes God's will, and God's will becomes our will. We become grounded in the divine reality. This grounded, enlightened state only happens through a total, continuous state of ego surrender. Total and continuous state of ego surrender. So the big question I invite all of you to ask yourselves today is, what causes you to not feel connected to or grounded in God? What desire, what desires are you attached to that are seemingly more important than this divine freedom? Be aware of the subtle choices you are making that aren't allowing you to enjoy whatever you are doing with your life. How you are at work, in your relationships, or alone by yourself. What is stopping you from being totally at peace, deeply relaxed in your body, and always trusting the divine? This is a unique and personal answer for everyone. Yet there is a 99% chance it has something to do with being wrapped up in attachment to desire. Attachment to one single small desire can throw our entire beautiful life face down flat in the mud. Attachment is what makes us think and feel that we're separate from God. When we are over-identified with our desires, it makes us think that we need to do something to become a better person. We feel as if who we are right now is not enough. This is the lie that keeps the ego being the master over our lives. This sensation that we need to arrive at some place better, where we will have more money, better friends, more amazing life experiences, and more expensive things, makes us think we will have become a better person. We will feel more successful and accomplished, so that we will feel happier, more fulfilled, and perhaps more lovable and worthy of love in our lives. The mind's attachment to all these desires is ignoring the truth that divine love and the most sacred experience of life is available by resting as the God source right here, right now. Desire is a tricky thing because we also need desires to keep life alive, flowing, and karmically moving. Without desires, we would all become sleeping slugs in puddles of warm mud. This may sound nice to some of us, yet honestly, how many years can one really enjoy this? The secret to having a great relationship with your desires is trusting that all your wishes are also God's wishes for you. Know that this universe is a team player who is on our team doing everything necessary to manifest our needs at the right time and place. When we truly surrender and trust that the universe is always working for us and never against us, then we are able to relax fully inside our bodies and find a deeply grounding experience in the divine. If you should believe that God's will and your will are different, this means your ego is playing a game with you. You are never separate from God. Never, ever, ever. Your mind can only imagine that you are separate. How can a drop of water be separate from the ocean? Time is in the mind. Space is in the mind. The law of cause and effect is also a way of thinking. In reality, all is here and now, and all is one. Multiplicity and diversity are in the mind only, Nisargadatta. You may only think you are isolated because you have been looping around and around and around in states of difficulty, emotional struggle, and suffering, unable to find freedom. These states are all happening because there is some idea in our minds that we cannot be with. Whatever we cannot be with, we become. If you cannot be with this idea that you are not separate from God, then you will create a tension around it, and it becomes your experience of reality. This is what the ego is all about. Ego is simply a tension, an identity, a separate goal-oriented mind state that is all about serving the little me to attain its personal success and agenda. It has nothing to do with merging with existence. Take a closer look at your daily experience of reality. Are you living from your microcosmic self or your microcosmic self? Are you living from your microcosmic self or are you living from your macrocosmic self? Try living from both and see what occurs. When we are only serving our ego's needs, this always leads to some future suffering. This small separate self is what perpetrates the desperate cycle of needing, having, possessing, wanting, and then grasping for more. True surrender in this life is a perpetual arrival into the now. It is constantly trusting life is abundant and always offering more. It's the deepest letting go of the ego's ideas about what we think we want and don't want and what will make us happy. When we finally do let go, we will naturally start abiding in the sacred home and heart where God is. we will begin to effortlessly manifest all of our dreams and desires simply because we are not attached. And when they show up, it just feels like extra frosting, extra frosted icing on our cakes. Knowing this is true wisdom and the source of where real freedom, empowerment, love, and lightness in life shines through. The apparent presence of the mind is the doorway to awakening. Make peace with the mind in every moment, and you will experience total bliss, and you will walk. You will suddenly drop the amnesia that you are not God and realize this is what your life mission is really all about. All of our life missions is what this life is really all about. This is the day we become 100% surrendered to the God source. And all our problems fade away because we can see how everything is a deep, eternal love in disguise. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted. I'm sure that we all are. And the first thing that we care to do is relax our bodies. Head to toe, inside and out. And how do we do that? Let go. Let go. Let go of all the things that you have attached yourself to and expectations with where you get disappointed and irritated and frustrated. Because whenever we drag attachment and expectation in this life, we suffer. And as long as we hold on to them, we will suffer. All the peace, all the joy, all the bliss, all the manifesting power is within each and every one of us. The body's a magnet. It's a superpowered magnet. And what it does is that throughout this life, it absorbs everything. Conversation, thoughts that aren't ours, everything. From the form of baby, from the form of fetus in the womb to baby outside the womb, and then into adulthood. It's constantly absorbing things. Constantly. Doesn't matter what it is. Hundreds of thousands and millions of thoughts, all stored in our subconscious minds. Most of these thoughts, over 99%, are not ours. So now you understand why the body gets tense, stressed, frustrated, angry, fearful. This is why it is so imperative to live 24/7, perpetually, in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, gratitude. When we stop being in gratitude, we suffer. And to be in gratitude is challenging at times because we have external authorities. We have external things that stroke the ego and mind. So it's practicing constantly staying in deep gratitude. Not expecting, not attached, no expectations, no attachments. You just know that whatever it is will be here in due time and in an appropriate manner. The body relaxes when we understand we're not the body. When we understand we're not the body, we're able to look at the body and view the body and watch the body. And we can look at the mind and the ego and the subconscious mind. And we watch. We don't judge. We understand. This way we understand what they're about, what they do. It's like, if you have an ego thought that comes in, what is your ego thought? What does it do? It wants. It's got to have, got to want. And that's all of us. This is when we live, outside of ourselves. It's when we live outside of ourselves. And living within ourselves and knowing that we are the God source. All of us are. All life is. And that things will come to us. Literally. You show the universe your sincerity on what the desire is, and you let it go. Whatever it may be. This way, the body starts to let go too. Fears, anxieties, stresses, worries. Body lets go of them. Why have them? What does it do for us? Does it do anything for us? Ask yourself, worrying incessantly about something, does it do anything for you? And if it does, is it good or is it not good? To stay in a perpetual state of relaxation for these bodies is almost mandatory. Yet, none of us are exempt from the incessant ego mind always tricking us and playing games on us. That's part of our challenge. We enter these physical forms, and they come with the accessories, so if you will, ego, mind, subconscious mind. And this is where we end up mastering them so we can transcend them. Quite interesting, isn't it? So how do you know when your body's relaxed? When it feels light, when it floats. And I'm not saying, I'm saying figuratively, not literally, but it feels like you can float. That's when you know the body's relaxed. And you focus on the breath because you don't care to bother the mind or the ego. Leave them alone. Don't engage yourself with the mind or ego. And in the now and beyond, you leave that behind. You leave all those thoughts that aren't yours. We've got tens of millions of thoughts that float by us all the time, and they aren't our thoughts. And then people say, well, how do we know that? You know when you generate a thought, when you do, it goes out to the universe. When all these other thoughts are coming in, they're not yours. And no matter how tricky they are, with your name attached to one of your thoughts, they're not yours. Only when you send your thought out is it yours. It's like you saying, I feel good. That's your thought. Because you feel it through the heart. This is a happy day. That's your thought. But then when these wild things come in, out of nowhere, out of the clear blue, and they have your name on them, which you are not the name, those aren't your thoughts. So it's being careful and then understanding that you're not the body. Focus on the breath. Evacuate the mind and the ego. Be in the flow of the now. Be in the boat going downstream. Don't need oars. You have all the trust and faith in yourself as the God that you are and the universe, that wherever that boat takes you is going to be just fine. Now, when we look in these bodies, and we know we're not the body, the character, the personality, how much money we have, our belongings, our status, and we start to realize we see these 7 lights in the body, from the tailbone all the way up to the top of the head. What are they? They're spirit, etheric energy. We are spiritual etheric energy. Now, these lights, unlike anything you've ever seen on Earth, are called chakras. Definition of chakra is wheel. So these are wheels of light. spiritual etheric energy. So we flow through them as the gods that we are. We flow through those wheels of light. And we connect to all of the operations in the body because we're the source of power for the body. That's why the baby is in the womb and the mother's soul powers that baby's body, the God in the mother. Once that baby is out of the mother, that's when you, the God, enters that body and begins to power it. The reason we leave the body so prematurely, most of us, is because we don't know who and what we are. That's the only reason that we prematurely leave the body, because we don't know who and what we are. And we allow the ego mind to put a ring in our noses and drag us around in life. Do you imagine that down to the quantum core, all of your organs, your blood, all of your tissue, everything, you, the God, have an intimate understanding of it all. Eventually, once we discover totally that we are the God and not the body, and we transcend the ego mind, we'll be able to heal these bodies in a blink of the eye, no matter what is going on. Now, we all have memories. We all experience, and we store memories in our subconscious minds. It's kind of like our own little private library. And we visit it. We all do. And we reminisce. And we review past experiences that were fun, enjoyable, and lighthearted. And also we visit some that weren't too great. But we leave. We'll leave there. We shut the door, put the book on the shelf, back on the shelf. We shut the light off, shut the door. And from time to time, we revisit. Now, if you were standing, and there's 3 circles, golden circles. There's one in the center, one on the left, one on the right. And you see that each one has a path. And you see the trees have formed a canopy. And they're all golden, shimmering. The leaves, the bark, the branches, everything. And then in the center, you see this beautiful, bright emerald green grass. Perfect. Now, the one that you're standing on in the center is the now. And it looks like it's hardly ever been used. It looks brand new, almost pristine-like. Then the left pad on the left side, left path. That's the past. It looks really, really used. And the one on the right of you is the future, which looks really, really used. Some of us will go into the past, like I said, and leave. Then we leave. But some of us, and they don't believe it's consciously, they'll stay there so long that they end up taking the past into a future that doesn't exist, create that future from that past, and relive that past in that future. This is why people will say to themselves, this is whatever we do, we seem to end up here. Others of us, we go into the future, and we all go into the future, but the future doesn't exist because we created it in the now. So we kind of jump the gun, put the cart before the horse, and then we go into the future. And we always are asking ourselves, when is this going to happen? When is this going to stop happening? When am I going to have a better job? When am I going to have enough money so I can enjoy life? When am I going to feel better? When am I going to be healthy enough so I can enjoy my life? When am I going to meet the right person? When am I going to have the house I want? Or the vehicle, or whatever it may be. We visit that quite a bit. And then if we went up from afar and looked down on topo, and we looked down on these 3 paths, and then we looked at how many people were lined up to go down that path, it would boggle your mind. And in the center path, you would see that there were nobody there, that there was nobody. Everybody's in the past or the future, not the now. And this is why we suffer. In the now, we still the mind, the ego, and the subconscious mind. We focus on the breath. We're always focused on the breath. So in the now, we're not entertaining attachment expectation. We're going with the flow, downstream thinking. We aren't fighting the current. We're not fighting upstream. And we have the confidence through our heart minds and the gods that we are, and the faith in ourselves and the universe, that everything is just absolutely fine. And whatever we desire, we'll have. We'll enjoy it. So sometimes, we grab one of those clouds that pass by in the sky, and they're not our thoughts. And I don't think any of us have been exempt from it. Any of us. And, it's really funny, they're not our thoughts, and we're creating them into reality and experiencing them. This is why it's so imperative to be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Not once in a while, but all times. And to be in the highest of the highest high, and the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude, all the time, all the time. Not once in a while, but all the time. This way, you just, okay, so I wandered off, no biggie. I'll focus on my breath, and I'll be in the now. The now is how we master the ego mind and the subconscious mind. We don't master it when we're entertaining it, and it's dragging us around. And we all experience this. None of us are exempt. So when we start to figure it out, and it doesn't take much effort to do that, you start to figure it out, and you say, I prefer to be in the now. I will focus on my breath at all times and be in the now. At first, it's uncomfortable because you're not used to it. You're used to being in the ego mind, entertaining it, interacting with it. But after a bit, you'll begin to like it because you'll start discovering that that's your natural state of being. Being in the past, being in the future, doesn't work. Wasn't designed to work. So only in the now. You could do that walking around. You could be gathered with loved ones and relatives around the holidays. You could be in the now. Okay. It's like, when is all of these shenanigans going to stop? When is all this garbage and crap going to end on this planet? There's someone talking to you, right? And you basically are in the now. You're only focused moment to moment on your breath. You have no, even an inkling to answer that question because it's not in the now. You see how tempting it is for us to step in that goop and to answer that question because the ego mind is drawing you to it? And as soon as you step in that goop and answer that question, you begin to suffer. That's what happens. So does it make any sense for us to suffer? No. That's why we stay in the now. We stay in the now all the time. We stay in deep gratitude all the time. And no matter how you get irritated or how you get frustrated, just a little bit, flip into the now and flip into deep gratitude. You get disappointed, flip into deep gratitude. Turn the dial into deep gratitude. It is a real, wonderful place to be. Now, we also know that we're the soul in the body, the God source, the kingdom of God, the heaven, and the body's earth. So we're heaven on earth, literally. And not only that, every step we take, we're creating paradise. And we're consciously aware. Now, many on this planet aren't consciously aware. What does that mean? We are consciously aware that we know that we are of and from the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. We know it. We know that's what we're made of as the gods that we are. Not the bodies, the gods that we are. We're consciously aware of this. So we're always of it, from it. And we practice it within ourselves. And that's why we go within and stay within. And we shine our light. We shine our God force love light energy outward. We blast everything, 24/7, infinity. All life, the highest supreme value in the universe is we are blasting with our God force love light energy. Try it over the holidays. Try it all the time. Flood people. You don't have to yell it out. I'm going to flood everybody in this room with my God force love light energy. And you do it from the heart mind, not the ego. And watch what happens. There's no expectations or attachments. We just enjoy doing it. We enjoy doing it. This is how we're lifting this planet. And all the vibrational frequencies into the higher and higher and higher existences. And we may, in this lifetime, discover that when we decide to leave the body, we will know we're the light. We will know not to follow some light. We know we are the light. We are the God force love light energy. We are the pure consciousness. That's a big deal. We're in these bodies to discover who and what we are. I'm not saying it's not a challenge. We all like challenges as the gods that we are. Now, if you were to take a starship off planet far enough out so you could see the whole globe of Earth, Gaia Arya, you'd see that it would glow. I mean, for goodness sakes, we have 8 billion gods on this planet and counting. So you would see how bright it was, and you would look around the universe, and you'd see all these other lights, but they would be dim in comparison, like a candle in a dark room, dim. Now, that's not to say that many other planets being liberated aren't glowing with many gods either, because they're all part of us as we are them, as the gods that we are. Now, we know that parts of ourselves, the gods that we are, there are parts of us that are asleep. Now, they'll wake up when they wake up. There are other parts of us that are awake, to a certain extent. And these are the parts we interact with. These are the parts of ourselves and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. This is the interaction. This is where we learn. And this is all the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. This is the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes. The ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Morya, Badantia, Pel, Thoth, Yahweh, Yeshua. All of the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, Agartha, and beneath earth. All of our loved ones who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. All the off-worlders, galactics and celestials. All light energy beings. It's like on this planet. Numerous, massive amounts of light energy beings in shapes, color, sizes, forms, and configurations in different light spectrums we don't see. Because of the eyes with these bodies, we only see 1% of what is. But there is a small group that we are familiar with, and parts of this group we're dependent on, these bodies are. Fairies, sprites, elves, gnomes, dwarves, trees, trolls, elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, mermaid, dolphin, whale, Pegasus, unicorn, centaur, minotaur. Ask yourself a question. It's pretty common sense. The body you're in, can it continue without water? No. Can it continue without air? No. Can it continue without earth? No. You see the connection these bodies have with the magics, the elementals. Now, the archangels, cherubim, seraphim, archetypes, their civilization vibrates at a different frequency than we do. This is why we don't see them like we see each other. Now, they might come by, might look like us, and make a comment. A complete stranger. And you know that that's an angel. And it's a good comment. It's a wonderful comment. Not negative. And then we meet with them. Random conversation, complete stranger, could be in a store, somewhere. And boom, you're in this conversation. It's like old home week. Feel comfortable. It's like you've known them for years. And then when you're done talking with them, and in a lot of instances, it dawns on us that that was an angel. I know that was an angel. Some of us have friends that are angels. We don't know it. It's not like you're an angel, you're my best friend. And throughout all of our thousands of lifetimes, they've always been there. The gods within them are the gods within us, and vice versa. We're all one. Doesn't matter what physical vessel we can have it. We're all one, the gods that we are. Now, they have a message. The message is delivered numerous times in many different ways throughout existence. And it boils down to, isn't it magna glorious, stupendous, spectacular to be alive in these bodies? Yes, it is. Absolutely. Why? Well, when you're God, out of the body, all the things that we experience with these bodies, we don't when we are out of them, the gods that we are. We don't eat, we don't drink, we don't sleep, we don't taste, we don't touch, we don't feel, we don't sneeze, we don't laugh, we don't cry. You think about that now. Imagine not doing any of that ever. Some people say, oh, that'd be great. Oh, yeah. But see, these bodies are very seductive. This is why a lot of us keep reincarnating, so to say, where we enter our body because we like the physicality. We enjoy the challenges. And then we take it all for granted. And then some of us say that they don't want to be in the body. And then when they leave the body, they go, wow, can't believe I did that. Now, they can surround any one of us at any one time in the tens of thousands or tens of millions. And if you want them to, because of their vibrational frequency, they can house a large number in a small area. Just ask. They'll be there, and you'll be in bliss. Blink of the eye. Now, the ascended masters, they have mastered ascending into physical, and they've mastered physical. And they have ascended out of physical, hold pure consciousness, God form. We have ascended into physical. We are in the process of mastering the physical. We're creating our experiences to perfect our creations. Now, the off-worlders, the galactics, the celestials, we're only familiar with a handful of them, small group. And this group, there's over 1,000 species that travel through the solar system every day. Over trillions throughout the universes every day. This particular small group, Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, Andromedans, feline Zeta Reticuli, Anunnaki, Nords, Greys, Draco, Reptilian, Golden Pyramid, and Avian, they've been assisting us in our evolution, enlightenment, and ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. And we're all gathered. It doesn't matter if one of us gods is a billion light years away. That's the illusion. We're one. Hundreds of millions of us gathered, consciously aware, in the liberation of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, in this now. every day, 7 days a week, almost 4 years. We're in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we're all one, and we're all God, and we're all love. And our God force love light energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And it continues to intensify, and it continues to expand. We immediately form a circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. This light emanates from the God force love light energy within each and every one of us. This is the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love. And we're flooding this planet. On it, in it, above it, and below it. All life, the highest supreme value in the universe is when we're flooding it with this deep eternal love. Infinity, non-stop. We begin to ascend above the planet, we're immediately met with this massive ocean of glitter. And the best way to describe it is this massive fireworks grand finale display of which we've never come close to seeing on this planet. Laser light show, way beyond anything we can imagine, and a ballroom globe, mirror globe like you see in a ballroom, except this one is 1 trillion times larger, 1 trillion times more intense. Combine them all, and this is the ocean of glitter. See it through your heart minds. Feel the energy, the deep love, gratitude, and peace. And so we're curious, so we go and we look at the reflective points, and we notice we get these little tiny microscopic mirrors. So we enter them. And we discover that all of us, gathered, consciously aware, are teaching and learning from each other all the time. How can that be? Well, we perceive in the physical world that the tree is the tree. But the tree is the vessel that holds the God. Or the dog, or the cat, or any animal, or the bug in the rug, or the fly on the wall. It isn't the vessel, it's the God within the vessel. So parts of ourselves are teaching, learning, experiencing. And we do this all the time. It's just that we've been so seduced in the physical world with the ego mind and this external authority that we don't take the time to notice and learn. How many of us go out in nature and just sit? Or sit by a lake doing nothing? You don't have to be boating or skiing or anything, but just being in meditation on a rock, on a path in the woods, sitting in your car. Have you ever done that? You just go in, you zone out, you meditate for a few minutes in your car before you drive anywhere. You could be at dinner, you can have dinner, and all of a sudden you zone out and you do a little meditation. It might sound crazy to people, but this is the pathway for complete freedom for this civilization to discover the gods that they are and to be in the now and beyond. And always in deep gratitude. We're immediately met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that we are the power of healing. We are then met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is the power. This is a column of light that reminds us all of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. We are then met with the white fire. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that from head to toe, inside and out, infinity, we are protected. We are guarded. This white fire armor, nothing like on this planet, way beyond, protects us 24/7 throughout infinity. No demon, possession, no attachments, The lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies can invade, possess, raise all kinds of things. Yet, only you have the power. That if you decide to lower your vibrational frequency low enough, whether consciously or unconsciously, through hatred, anger, greed, revenge, worry, stress, fear, hurry, anxiety, dishonesty, manipulation, you will lower your vibrational frequency low enough to create a breach in your white fire armor. Enough so to allow lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. Now, if you do decide to do this, you're immediately met with a double column of light. First part of the column of light is the purple transmuting flame. We created this column to remind us all that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame, transmute all these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sending them to pure consciousness where they are no more. The other part of the column is the violet ray. We created this part of the column to remind us all we can bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame. We can cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies once were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor, restoring our vibrational harmony to the highest high, deepest to the deepest, purest to the purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. We are then met with a golden white pink light. This is a column of light that we've all created to remind ourselves that the gods that we are in these bodies are the sunlight, the sun. The sun sets and the sun rises, the rain and the rainbows, the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams, the trees, the forests, the soils, the animals, the skies and the clouds, mountain. We are everything. Everything is us. So the next time you see a sunrise or sunset, an ocean view, a mountain view, a snowfall, a mountain view, forest, trees, it is you. You're the majesty. You're the divineness. You're the divine perfection. You're the beauty. It's you. It always has been. All of us gods. And it always will be, ever, beyond, and forever. So when you see through your heart mind this beauty, that is the God that you are. That is the God that I am. Big difference. We continue to ascend above the planet. Some of us step outside our physical form and hover effortlessly above the body if we're carrying physical form. And we do this because it's fun and we can. We come into full contact with a crystalline light tower. We created this tower. It's larger than the solar system and beyond. In the center of the column, we see this oblong sphere. And the center of the sphere is this golden white bowl of light. It is surrounded by numerous multicolored rings of light, which seem to never end. They've created, all of them combined create this super white, majestic cloud mist. And it's sparkling, and you can see that you see the little like arcs of electrics, and absorbs into our heart, right through our hearts, and it's like a warm embrace that never ends. And we discover that the golden white bowl of light is the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, and purest of the purest, eternal love. Then gratitude. Then peace. Well-being. Gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness. Bliss, joy. Tranquility, benevolence. Great prosperity. Great abundance. And we discover that all of this is a reflection of us, the gods, in these bodies. At the top of this crystalline tower, we designed it so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees, as it's doing throughout infinity and beyond. The highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, and purest of the purest purest, eternal love. Flooding this planet throughout infinity and beyond. Head to toe, inside and out, all life, the highest supreme value in the universe. Now, we're all drops of this golden ocean, and we all hold the essence of this golden ocean. The golden ocean is the drops of the golden ocean. And the only illusion is separation. We see our meditative sphere. It's that center circle. All of us created this sphere almost 4 years ago. And it holds over 1,700 of our meditations in perpetual motion. They don't dissipate and fall away. They do the opposite. They intensify and they continue to expand. You can dip into these meditations anytime you choose, right through the heart-mind. This is a flood. This is the highest of the highest high vibrational frequencies of pure, deep, eternal love, gratitude, peace, flooding this planet non-stop, unending. Head to toe, inside and out, all life, highest supreme value in the universe. Now you can see the increase in vibrational frequencies. You can feel it. This planet is being soaked, flooded, and saturated with the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. It is unending. It is unstoppable. And it is here now. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose. And an easy breath out through the mouth. Move easily and slowly. This playful witnessing consciousness only happens when the mind is not there, when there is no mind. However, the mind is in your way to such a degree that you may need a technique to help you open fully to the here and to the now. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. And we will return here, Christmas Day, 3 p.m. Eastern, December 25th, 2021, Saturday, to continue our global guided meditation call.